Caleb, when you look at the results in the last two games, they're obviously not what you guys would necessarily want. What do you kind of have to do to rebound and be able to go on the road now, 2 straight games, and pick up some points?
Yeah, we knew this stretch would be difficult. 4 or 5 on the road. I think the disappointment in the last game is it's the one home game out of the 5, and you want to pick up the 3. You always want to pick up 3 at home, but you certainly want to pick up the 3 when you have this difficult a stretch. Obviously when you look at it, Dallas, we get a point. Then obviously we have a pretty poor performance, I thought, versus San Jose. Last game, I thought we were much improved defensively. For me, that's a positive. But we need to get both going. Obviously to start the year, we had the attack rolling, and it's because we had the attack together. And that was our greatest strength. And we still had some issues that we were sorting out in the back line. But we were scoring goals. And when you score goals, you win games, and it hides a lot of things. Well, the last 4 games, we've lost that front 4. They haven't been together. And, now it's a bit more under the microscope in terms of if you're not scoring goals, everything that's going on. So in moving to this game, the process is going to be the same. We want to defend like we did last game because for me, when I looked at that side of things, I thought we were excellent. Obviously they had 70% possession and only had 3 shots on goal. If I'm on the other side and my team has 70% possession and I only get 3 shots on goal, I'm wondering what's going on. And you guys are probably killing me up here, and wondering how we don't create more chances. So you have to look at that side of things, and looking at San Jose to this game, you have to say that the defending was very good on the day. So that's the good news. The bad news is we were defending for 70% of the time, and that's not good. Obviously, first half when we won the ball, we didn't connect up the pitch, and then we gave the ball away, and now we're defending again. And that was kind of the story of the first half. Second half, much improved. Second half, we were much better. Thought we were a better team in the second half. Clearly, and there was only going to be one winner in the game. We were the team pushing, and we ran out of time. And then on the attacking side, you have to look at the chances as well. 30% possession for us to get 13 chances to 7, that's pretty good execution on the attacking end. So those are the takeaways of the game. Moving to this game, can we defend like we did last game, connect better once we win the ball so that we're not defending quite as much. And if we do that, I think we're going to have a positive result.
On Sunday, you had said that Darlington was close. Will Darlington play this weekend?
Yeah, he's close. He'll travel. We think he'll play. Yeah.
You have talked about the fact that you're going to bring in a central defender. My question's about coaching that. You have guys now playing that position, yet they hear you say that, and I know they're professionals. But do you have to talk to them about that? Because that, as a player, that has to be a strange place to be in, hearing your coach say, like, I'm looking for your replacement.
It's a part of the business. You hear that talk all the time. Coaches here talk about their jobs. Players here talk about their jobs and, their performances all the time. So that's just normal. If you're in that world, that's completely normal. It's not an issue at all. And, if you think about it just from the standpoint of guys in and out of lineups all the time, they're competing for their jobs. And so ultimately it's nothing new for these guys who have been professional players. And no, you don't need to talk to them, and no, you don't announce every single time you add a player. And when you bring a guy in, you don't bring everybody in and throw a party because he's in. And it's just normal, part of this job. And they know there's going to be guys in and out, and it's just a part of it. They know it, and they're well aware of it. And in some ways, that pressure and tension to perform is good. It's good. I've found, thinking like you coming in, I thought, you'd be worried and careful, with moves. And, to be honest with you, when there's a little bit of pressure, knowing a guy's coming in, guys seem to play better.
You always talk about in this league, every team, you got to worry about every team. But when you look at the table and you see Montreal, to be one of the elite teams, is this the kind of thing you say, hey, we have to make a statement and kind of show where we belong when you play a team where Montreal is on the table?
It's difficult to make statements in soccer. That's a similar conversation I've had with my owner, in the past. it's not like some of the other sports, where you can say, okay, we're playing this team, they're weak, we're going to crush them by 30 points or, 3 touchdowns. That doesn't happen in soccer, Of course, on the day, if you're good, can you, beat a team by 3-0, 3 goals? Yeah, maybe that can happen. That can happen against good teams. But we go into the game trying to win the game. We don't go into the game trying to make statements. And for us to think that we can make a statement versus Montreal, a team that was 1 game away from MLS Cup last year, and they've added, 2 really good attacking players, I'd argue they're better than last year, that would be really disrespectful to their team. They're a good team and really organized, and I think they've been on the wrong end of results. When I watch, they've been unlucky, and I think they should have won the last several games they've played. You cannot, as a fan, even look at the table and assume that it's going to be an easy game. Funny enough, us beating Philadelphia is looking like a pretty good result. And at the time, they were one of the worst teams in the league, and now they've gotten 2 wins in a row, and that's the way this rolls. You can't, after a few games, say, oh, this team's bad, and certainly we're not with Montreal saying this team is going to be an easy game. They're a good team.
Coach, I think you mentioned this a little bit post-game, but how does having Darlington out there change the game? What type of effect does he play for your team?
Well, you talk about possession. Our possession will go up, 10 to 20% immediately with 1 player on the field. He's our best possession player by a mile. And everybody talks about the stats and, the goals and the assists, but he brings that. He's bringing that this year. But what he does bring is he brings control with the ball. We were very controlled last game without the ball. Control comes in 2 different ways, either with the ball or without the ball. And some games we want to control the game with the ball. Some games we're okay controlling it without. And a good team is capable of controlling the game both ways. I did not agree with the assessment from Tata on the game at all, that they dominated the game. They had 70% possession. Most of the possession was in the back half, and they had 3 shots on goal. So they could not break us down. They struggled to break us down, and we had nearly double the shots in the game. So that narrative I don't agree with whatsoever. I'm well aware we only had 30% possession, but I'm also well aware that we nearly doubled their shots. And we were the much better team in the second half. And at the end of the game, we were the team clearly that was looking to win the game. So going back to possession, Darlington will help our possession a lot. And that helps you control the game with the ball. And so that's going to really be a nice boost for our team, And we're starting to get the wheels and the spokes in the wheel back together, And when we had 6 weeks of preseason with the same lineup and we rolled that into the year and we were rolling, that was a big part of it, So the spokes been missing a little bit in a few spots in the wheel, and the wheel's not rolling quite as good the last several games, but we're getting it back together, and no doubt about it, our form will come back.
Well, when you talk about getting it back together, obviously you're going to have the international duty that kind of disrupts that a little bit. How do you ensure that you get the attack back together, you get the chemistry going, when you are going to have at least 1 more disruption in the next few weeks?
Yeah, obviously you want to have that form every game. You want to have that consistency and continuity. You're not going to get it, every game. But can we get it for a couple games? And I think that's the key. Can we get back looking like the team that we want to be, both sides of the ball? And that's the goal this game. And I think you'll see it. I think you'll see a good performance. I think you'll see a more balanced performance. I think you'll see us not defending as much. I hope when we're defending, whether that's 50% of the time or 45% of the time, I hope we defend as well as we did last game, because outside the goal we were excellent. And then I hope on the ball we're much better in possession. I also hope we create 13 shots on goal or more, because that's pretty good as well.
You mentioned a little bit after the game your decision to start Roy Miller over Olam, but now going forward, I'm sure you're not going to tell us the lineup, but what kind of is the difference between those two guys for you in making a decision of who you'd rather have out there in any given game?
They're different players. You know, Lawrence is probably a little bit, you'd say, better on the ball. I'd say Roy, although Roy's good on the ball, and I'd say Roy, you know, is a guy that looks to win more balls. I think that's the biggest difference. So, you know, I think in looking at those two guys, depends on what you want. Pick your poison. But both are very good, and we can win with either one of them. And I'm happy to have both of them. And going back to your question, Craig, in signing a new guy, the new guy is going to have to be good, you know, to beat out those two guys, because those two guys are very good. And, you know we're going to have to manage whether we sign a guy or not the next 6-7 weeks, because the window doesn't open up where we can play a guy till July 10th. And I feel good about Roy or Lawrence in the lineup. But, yes, we're looking to add a guy because we lost a guy in Benga. So it's that simple.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are taking a charter to Montreal. How does that help in your preparation for the game, not having to fly commercial and dealing with that aspect of the travel?
Yeah, it's nice just to be able to arrive at 9 at the charter and, you know, feel like, you know, the Blazers, NBA, you know, although they travel more than us. But to be able to just roll up, not go through regular security, park your car, get on the charter. It's a nonstop flight. Normally you cannot get a nonstop flight in certain places. This is one of them. So we still lose a training day. We get in at, by the time we get off the bus and in the hotel, we're getting in about 7 p.m. So we still lose a training day. But it's just a lot more relaxing to not have to deal with the security and parking your car and all those other things, and, you know, a multi-leg flight.
Do you think that Roy Miller and Leon Richwell might have been one of the most effective defensive combinations this season so far?
I thought they were very good, very good. But I also think there have been some games where Lawrence and Ridgie have been very good as well, and there have been some games where Lawrence and Roy have been very good. If you remember, Ridgewell was out, I think it was 5 games. You know, so, but I thought in the last game that was one of our best games defensively. You know, in looking at, again, the amount of possession. We gave up the most possession that we've given up all year, maybe since I've been here, and yet we only gave up 3 shots on goal against a really good attacking team that was trying to create chances, and they struggled. They really struggled to create much. Obviously, we gave up the goal. You know, so I know it's hard for you guys to hear. We were really good defensively because we gave up a goal. You know, but take out that moment. You know, we gave the ball away, and then, you know, it's a pretty good finish out of Gressel. We were extremely organized and tough to break down, and I thought our 2 holding mids, their connection with the back 4 was much improved and probably better than it's been in any other game. So really pleased with that. But when we won the ball, we didn't find the first pass up the field enough in the first half, and we have to do a better job of that. And if we do a better job of that, then we're creating even more chances than we did, and, you know, we're probably winning the game.